Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut. And hopefully, you like this video and smash that subscribe button. So, we're going to talk about the options that could be still available and that are still available for the Mets and for any team in terms of starting pitching. And as you know, the Mets lost Frankie Montas 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, he is the fifth starter, but he did throw 150 innings last year for the Reds and the Brewers. So that is something you cannot afford to lose. You can't afford to lose guys that throw a lot of innings. Now, I had done a video the other day about Jose Quintana, but we have some other options in this situation. And there are actually quite some good pitchers still available. And not just starters, but relievers. We've got a bunch of... Before we get into this video, on my list, I got Ross Stripling still out there. Let me see. Patrick Corbin, although I wouldn't sign him, but I'm just putting his name out there. Obviously, Jose Quintana is still out there. He has not signed with anybody. Currently, he's going to be pitching for the Columbia team. We'll see how he does there. But there's quite a few pitchers. Kyle Finnegan, the reliever, he's still available. Any team could pick him up. There's quite a few pitchers quite a few players that are still quality players that are still in the free agent market that are still available for any team to sign. Amazingly enough, there's still players out there. I was very surprised to hear about Quintana still being out there, and obviously very shocked that Kyle Finnegan's still out there. I wonder what team will sign him. We're in the beginning of the games in spring training. We'd like to see players that are good players. He's a good pitcher, quality reliever. It was a shock that he got non-tendered by the Nationals, but no one's picked him up. But anyway, Mets still have options available through free agency to bolster the roster and the rotation. This is from SI. The Mets hold one of the weaker starting rotations in MLB, but they still have options available to improve the unit through free agency. That's an opinion. People thought that way about the Mets going into last season. So that is an opinion, not based on how the Mets look at it. And the Mets turned out to be right about the options, and they did a great job elevating Sean Manaea, bringing back Luis Severino, who had been in the doldrums for many years with injuries and hadn't pitched in a regular season, pitched poorly in 2023 for the Yankees. And obviously, Jose Quintana had a very strong, very good season. Even though he was 500 pitching, he had a good year, in my opinion. Even if the Mets and Jose Quintana don't end up reuniting, the team still has more options available through free agency. The Mets entered spring training with one of the weakest rotations in the National League East, while the Phillies boast former Met Zach Wheeler at the top of their rotation. They also brought in Jesus Luzardo, that can't be forgotten. And the Atlanta Braves had the two-headed Spencer Dragon with Strider and Schwellenbach. Now, Spencer Strider is coming back from Tommy John surgery, so I wouldn't go that far. The Mets have Sean Manaea and Kodai Senga. Now, Kodai Senga, if he is able to stay healthy, he is a top-notch pitcher. He's an ace. Came in second in the National League Rookie of the Year voting 2 years ago. And he has had plenty of experience. So if he's on that mound, he's going to get... And, he didn't pitch one postseason because the Mets shouldn't have pitched him. He just wasn't prepared. Just wasn't ready. Didn't have enough time under his belt to be really ready to put a good performance on. But Sean Manaea had a big year. And he was the Mets ace and really from June on. Was one of the best pitchers in the game in the second half, to be honest with you. So that part of it is very good with the Mets. The unit doesn't match up well with the rest of the division, and the lineups they will have to face regularly compounds the issue. Losing Frankie Montas in the middle of the rotation hasn't helped either. He is a fifth starter. The way this article is written is so a negative. This is why so many people hate the media, specifically in how they treat the Mets. The Mets don't have the strongest rotation. We know that. But they're very confident, and they were confident last year, so we should give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Right. As Pat Ragazzo of Mets on SI reported on Wednesday, there is mutual interest in a reunion with Jose Quintana. Both the Mets and the 36-year-old southpaw are currently in talks. Should an agreement on a contract not be reached, however, there are more options that New York can pivot to instead. Kyle Gibson, Patrick Corbin, Andrew Heaney, and Lance Lynn stand out as the biggest names left in free agency. I would mention about Andrew Heaney. He signed with the Pirates on a one-year deal. The first two are durable, with each of them throwing 160 or more innings last season, but none of them recorded an ERA below 4. As for Lynn, he posted a 3.84 ERA, but in only 117 and a third innings. most useful free agent available could be Spencer Turnbull. The 32-year-old righty spent 2024 with the Phillies, serving as a starter and reliever before succumbing to a season-ending injury in June. For his career, Turnbull has pitched to a 4.26 ERA across 356 innings and 356 and 2/3 innings, 78 games. That's not very. That is not inspiring. Going after Spencer Turnbull, that's for sure. And this is very much a very negative article about the Mets. You don't go after Spencer Turnbull. This is the recommendation by this particular writer, complaining about the Mets rotation. So you're bringing them really, quite frankly, an average to mediocre pitcher. You don't want that. The Mets would be better off doing what they have, and that's going with the guys they have in their organization, like Griffin Canning, who the Mets are very high on, but he'll be a 6th starter here, 7th starter. Going back with Tyler McGill, and of course giving Brandon Sprout a shot at making the team, or at least helping them later down the road, either in May or June or July. So the Mets have options, and not just about free. The best option is Jose Quintana. Kyle Gibson, maybe I would think about it. Patrick Corbin, he's been such a mediocre pitcher, such a bad pitcher. Andrew Heaney signed. Lance Lynn, I would give quite a long look to, because he's been a very good pitcher in his career. He's been a big game pitcher, and he's not going to need to pitch a lot of innings, because they're going to go with a 6-man rotation here with the Mets. The Mets have let that be known. And I think part of it is Senga. And I think some of these other guys, they don't want to wear them down. Because I think the Mets looked at how things kind of went last year, that some of the guys wore down a little bit. That Manaea wore down when they got to October. Quintana wore down against the Dodgers. The Mets pitching staff wore down a little bit. And the bullpen did too. So I think they want to have a 6-man rotation, have a guy that's a long man, either be Griffin Canning or Jose Butto or possibly Tyler McGill. But they don't want to bring in pitchers that are mediocre. And Turnbull is a mediocre pitcher. So is Patrick Corbin, excuse me. But you let me know what you think about this video. And of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.